Welcome to Toffee TV. It is the final word. Tottenham Hotspur 2, Everton 0. A disappointing night at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, where we didn't really show much attacking prowess at all, did we? And after an hour or so of some good rear guard action, we obviously succumbed to a Spurs penalty, and obviously they went on to get a second and win the game.
Yeah, and obviously there was a game plan, a clear game plan by Frank Lampard and his coaching staff, and for the best part of an hour they stuck to it. But the danger with that kind of game plan is once you go behind, what have you got to respond? If you do go behind, what have you got to respond? And we know Everton's issues in the final third mean that we're not blessed with lots of options to change a game. Dominic Calvert-Lewin's not fully fit yet, and we're seeing that at the moment. So it was always going to be difficult if you concede the first goal, which is how it proved. And once they got in front, there was really only one winner.
Yeah, it was. Obviously we were expecting a 4-3-3 again, and it ended up being 5 at the back, with Michalenko providing the left-hand side centre-back position, and Dwight McNeil playing left wing-back. And I suppose after the first 20 minutes was tough, but once we got through that, I thought we looked a lot more comfortable, started moving the ball through midfield a lot better, and settled down into the game. It was a hectic first 20 minutes. And I thought after that 20 minutes, we were quite comfortable in the first half, which I suppose makes it doubly frustrating. I think that we don't have anything in the final third, knowing that if we did, there could have been opportunities there. And I think we all know what our big issue is at the moment. And I think it's a case of, can Frank Lampard find a way with the players he's got to create something that is a way of scoring goals, is a way of manufacturing situations that gets us getting more chances in the game? Because ultimately we finished the game with 0 shots on target, and I don't care who you're playing against. I think that's just abysmal. I think it's really abysmal. Abysmal in terms of having opportunities and just not hitting the target. Even if you make the keeper make a save, and I find that utterly just awful. And as I said, I don't care who you're playing against. That to me is just embarrassing, that you can't hit the target once in a game of football.
Yeah, it's utterly atrocious. 180 minutes of footy at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, we haven't had a shot on target. That's embarrassing by any stretch, whether you're a non-league team or you're a Premier League football team. And you're a forward player, and you come off that pitch without having a shot on target, you should be embarrassed by your night's work. And I don't care if you're up against Virgil van Dijk in his peak, or whoever it may be. You're up against Eric Dyer, who's a dependable centre-back, that's all he is. You've come out of that game, one of the front players, without an attempt on target, without an attempt really, as Neil Maupay didn't have a single attempt. You should be embarrassed with your night's work, because you're going to work, that's what your job is. And your job is to get angles, get yourself into positions, get shots away. The whole team, I can level it at the 3 or the 2 forwards, and Dom was on, so I guess him as well. You can have a pop at them, because it is their job. But the whole team to not have a single attempt on target, that's embarrassing. It really is. And, back Frank Lampard, and I think he's doing a decent job. And I think we have, for all the improvements we've made this season in terms of we're more solid, we've got a bit more control in games. We do carry a threat. To come out of games without hitting the target, that's shocking. We'd be fuming if it was Sam Allardyce or Rafa Benitez or whoever it may be. So the whole team themselves that's something they've got to work on.
I think the team, you look at the team, and defensively it is set up a lot better now, and that is what we have to build on, and that's been. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about change. I can understand what he was trying to do, going to a back 5, trying to alert, trying to stop Spurs getting a goal. But I just I just don't know how long that can ever work in a game of football. I think you have to... See, you can start a game like that, but for me, I think you have to be able to change it. You have to have a plan for changing it within a game. And I'm not sure that we have got that. And I think that's an issue, which, again, it's... People can say about personnel and stuff. But I do think we have to have something different. Because I think if we'd... I think after 20, 25 minutes, we had maybe changed back to more of a 4-3-3. I think we still would have been quite comfortable. I think we'd seen off the initial danger of what Spurs had to offer, and I think they'd run out of ideas a little bit. And it wasn't until later on the game that they were forced into a change where Richarlison went off that I thought things did start to change for them. They didn't need that extra man up front because they just needed a bit more control on the pitch, and I think that's what we're missing at the moment. I think you can be defensively solid, but have a little change in you, whether that's sub or tactically on the pitch. I think that's something we're missing, because we clearly don't have too many strategies or too many ideas of how we're going to get in behind teams. I mean, the out ball, obviously, for the chance we got from Managerial, which we'll look at, but the out ball is always there, and it's like, why don't we do that more often? Why aren't we trying to get Maupay over the top? Why aren't we kind of spin and get him into the channels? Even if he's offside 4 times out of 5, so be it.
Gamble on it. Yeah.
Let's start changing things about, and people go, you're going long or whatever, but you know, we've fashioned 2 fantastic chances in the first half. One a little bit fortuitous, but we still got it. But that's not enough. That's not enough for me. I don't care who you're playing against. We've got to be a little bit better with what we've got, because we've got better players. We've got a better midfield. Okay, the attacking forward line is still pretty poor, but we should be fashioning better chances.
If you look at, say, someone like Fulham, who've just come up, okay, they've got Mitrovic. Is he better than Dominic Calvert-Lewin? I don't think so.
But Dominic Calvert doesn't play.
No, but I'm saying, but other than him, who have Fulham really got? No, let me finish. Who've they really got? Yeah, Fulham will go to, or did go to Spurs, or will go to Spurs, and have been to Spurs. I've nearly got, but they'll have chances in the game. Like, you'll see teams like Bournemouth, who might have inferior players to Everton, will go and have opportunities in a game. Okay, they may lose, they may not. But we're just going almost go, well, we're going to keep it really tight. And we've just got to hope that we take one of these chances.
Is that not just us, though, over-egging some of our players, ultimately?
No, I don't think so. I look at Bournemouth, I wouldn't take any of their front 3 at all. Solanke.
Would anyone take our front 3?
I don't know.
Genuinely.
That's up to them, isn't it?
No, I know, but I'd take Solanke over Maupay right now, easily. Oh, easily. There wouldn't be a question mark over it.
But there'll be a flip of a coin who scores more goals.
Might be, but I think there's players who play for Fulham and players who play for Bournemouth and players who play for other sides we don't consider good enough, who've got something about them that some of our players... Like, Dwight McNeil, I don't think anyone would take Dwight McNeil. I think he's garbage. I don't think he offers anything, apart from he might be a good left-back, but I don't think he offers anything going forward. Damari Gray is... He'll do that. He'll do that and then finish like that. He's never in control of the ball. Maupay could be a decent split striker, but he's never ever going to be a centre forward on his own the way we play. I just think that there's other teams out there who mightn't be as defensively solid as us, but have a little bit more nous going forward. Even like,
I think they throw caution to the wind.
Even things like, and there's real big bugbear. Our set pieces are dross. Like, really, really bad.
Yeah, bad.
Like, it's in the delivery more than anything.
But saying that, you're right. You are right. But saying that, Tarkowski has a good chance early on off a corner. Corner comes in, he's got a free header, and he heads it over. He's got to hit the target.
I think we only have one corner all day anyway, or something like that.
Yeah.
So we don't have too many opportunities. But when we do, our corners are pretty poor. And it's things like that we have to massively...
We had a lot against United, didn't we?
Exactly. And they're woeful. And they're the... See, a Fulham or a Brighton or a Bournemouth might have someone who's the delivery might be fantastic and gives...
Well,
and it's just those little moments, isn't it, that in games of football that can be... You might look at a player and go, well, he's not as good as the player we've got in that position. But if they can open up that one moment, and I think for us, you are right. there has to be, like, there's because with this game, loads of people look at it and go, yeah, but until a mistake, we were fine. It was like, yeah, but you've got to have, certainly got to be able to create chances.
Obviously, to build a team, you've got to have a lot of components, right? Aston Villa, rightly, will look at their front players and go, we've got better players than Everton in them front areas, because they have. Got Danny Ings, Ollie Watkins, Ollie Watkins, if Dominic Calvert-Lewin's 100% and Ollie Watkins is, then it might be a toss-up, right? Because Dom, when he's 100%, is a good centre-forward. A lot of teams like him. Ollie Watkins, I do. Danny Ings is what a sub to have, because he knows where the net is. Then they've also got Buendia, who's a lovely little footballer. They've got Leon Bailey, who's a real threat. So Villa will go, Everton's midfield's better than Villa's, in my opinion, and defence is miles better than Villa's, right? So it's all about balance. Villa have got it at the top end of the pitch with attacking players, but they're not winning any games, which is why they're below Everton. Other players will have it, other teams will have it. Teams, that's what I'm trying to say, even teams who are, in my opinion, inferior to Everton, will still go, like Southampton. Like, we beat Southampton the other week. They were poor, right? You look at their front line and go, Che Adams, not bad. Armstrong, no, not good enough. A couple of other. But they will go to Spurs and have opportunities and create chances. Now, they might get beat 2-0 or 2-1, whatever, right? Or
4-1.
No, I know, but they were winning 1-0.
No, I know, I take the point.
But what I'm saying is they'll carve chances. But we kind of, we're going too much one
other way and then another way. No, I think you're right. I think the problem, listen, my little issue is, and I think we saw this last week against United, is that you can only work with what you've got, but you have to do more with what you've got then. Yeah. You have to find a way. You have to, if you've got...
Ever heard the phrase, play to his strengths?
Yeah, you've got Damari Gray. So therefore, you've got to say to Damari Gray, right, we're going to try and get you in every time, and we're going to do that trick 10 times a game.
Yeah.
Don't do it once, and then go, that's the last time we're ever going to do that. Like I was saying before, Maupay, find something that you can work with them in. Does he come back and then one of the midfielders runs past them?
Should do.
You know, something like that. That has to start. We have to start seeing more of that. Because this idea of, again, relying on Dominic Calvert-Lewin is fanciful, because we've seen him in 2 games and he hasn't shown anything. And this, what I, like, is medical, you know, the idea of, like, you know, what we've seen from medical teams and fitness teams, how have we not got to a point where a player trains all week and yet you have to wait weeks and weeks and weeks for them to become match fit? How is that? How are those two things so far away from each other? That
he doesn't train every second.
No, but surely that's just a general thing. How does it take footballers ages to become match fit when they train every day and they've got every single...
Because they're up against different players in training. He's not played a lot of football in a year, really, has he? Sharpness.
Fine, but I don't quite understand how that's a thing. I really don't. I don't understand how a footballer can train all week and then come on the pitch and just look like he doesn't know what he's...
But you've seen that with... It's not just... To be fair, it's not just Everton. You see it with other players. It's like, you know, look at Harry Kane last season for Spurs. It took until the new year. Once the new year come, he was unbelievable again. But the first few months,
I don't know if that was match fit.
Well, what was it then?
Attitude.
Okay, I don't know. I don't know him well enough to question his attitude. But what I'm saying is, he looked like people were going, City will be made up. They didn't get him. He looks like he's finished. Next minute, he's back to being what Harry Kane is, which is unbelievable. So it can happen with different... I get your point. It is a weird thing that you're training every day and you go on a pitch and look like you're not fit. That's weird, or it looks like you forgot what you do. But on Saturday, when Dominic Calvert-Lewin come in, Dwight McNeil put a cross in early on. I thought, right, this is going to be a ploy now. I don't think we've done another one. Garner put one in, that was it. But yeah, going back to the actual point in the game, we rode that first 20 minutes. Tottenham obviously a really good side, but Everton kind of coped with what they had in the opening 20 minutes, and the game did flatten out, and then we did get our opportunity, and it was a big opportunity. Connor Cody has the ball, sees Damari Gray. Bentancur was picking him up for whatever reason, sees Damari Gray, knocks it into space, and we'll have a look at just how, on the stills, just how we fashioned the chance. So the first one we're going to see now is where he's got the ball. So he's got the right side here for an attacking turn. You know, he's played it. Maupai's trying to join in. It's all about this touch now. Can this touch take him away from Bentancur if we see the next one? It does take him away. And where we've done the arrow is exactly where he should run, which is a crossing, so he cannot touch him. But his touch takes him a little bit. If we go to the next one, I've got the two arrows. Where the touch actually takes him, and the line is where he should be going. Because once you get more central, he can't touch it. It opens the whole goal up for you. But he doesn't. His touch takes him where the arrow is. And once he gets in where the arrow is, we do the next one. That's got to be the finish. Across Lloris, back into the far corner. And he gets a little nudge, but he never looks like he's ready to hit the shot. He's hesitating. The longer you give a goalkeeper to set themselves, the harder the chance is. And he ends up blazing it into...
It's pathetic.
Over the bar.
It's absolutely pathetic.
And he gets up going, there's a little push, and there is a little nudge, but it's not enough to make him go down.
It's pathetic. I've seen Saka for Arsenal, scoring against Leeds, with a worse angle. And he's so in control that he just smashes it in the top corner from a worse angle. But he's always in control of the situation. That's the problem with the players we've got. They're never in control.
Damari Gray said it. Someone said it to us the other week, and they were absolutely right. Champions League ability and championship finishing and quality.
I wouldn't go as far as the first one.
No, if you watch Damari like that's like you'd see a top player do. Ball off, rolls the man, gets away from him. It's like brilliant. That's what real good wingers do. Only real good wingers run on and dink it over the keeper or knock it in, and you go, brilliant that. Because if we had that ability, he'd get 10 goals comfortably every season. Because what you'd do is exactly what you said. Neil Maupay, you come short and let's go over the top. We've seen, look, Forest at home, injury time, Jordan Pickford, long ball, first touch, world class, out of his feet.
He ain't got time to think about it.
Know what I'm saying? There's the ability right there. Ball's out the sky, dead, out of his feet, opens the goal up, bang, 1-1. Under pressure, last minute, we're losing the game. Tucks it in comfortably. There, 0-0, racing through on goal, just hit the target. If the keeper pulls off a worldy save, brilliant, you've done your job. You've got us something out of nothing. You've forced Lloris into a good save. Keep doing it. That's something they might be scared of. Blazes it over the bar because they're waiting for the ball to stop so then they can take the shot. You've got to be able to get shots away under pressure.
I just think that's abysmal.
Got to get shots away.
I think it's harder to actually miss the target than hit it. I just think that's appalling.
No, but I don't understand on a pitch that's like a carpet why the ball's bobbling. Yeah. Why have you not got it out of your feet so that, you look at...
That's what I'm saying.
Look at like Mo Salah yesterday, the long ball, the fella makes a mistake, runs on, just dinks it, because he's in control, dinks it over the keeper. Harry Kane would have gone like that, it'd have been out of his foot, bang, and before Pickford had a chance to set, he'd be running off, giving it the aisle, because it doesn't wait. He doesn't wait and wait and wait, thinking, I've got to get this right, I've got to get this right. Do we need in training to have him running through? Do you have to recreate that?
Oh, we could do it about a million times in training, he'd score it. Yeah. Michael Keane had scored that in training. The difference is, good players do it in tight situations.
You've got to be ice cool.
You have to.
You've got to just slow the game down and go, this is where it's going, and make it. And it was an awful miss. And
this is the problem, see. These players get lauded all week for this kind of stuff in training and all this, and they put the clips out. It's all bollocks. It's all nonsense. It doesn't mean anything. Only time it means anything is when it happens in a game. I wish they'd fucking stop putting out clips of training, because it means absolutely nothing. It only means something.
I don't mind.
No, but it's crap though. It's food for the masses. It means nothing. It only matters there. It only matters in that situation.
I know, but we can't.
No, but
we can't say like they've got to engage the fan base, and then
I just don't see the point.
No, but I don't mind the training thing. That doesn't. I don't mind seeing it, right? Because that's what it is. But you're right. To get any adulation, you have to be able to do it under pressure. It's what the game's about. Yeah. The game isn't about training where you're missing. If you're missing training, so what?
And the thing about it is, right, not like sitting here going, this is a disgrace that we got beat by Spurs. It's not a disgrace at all. They're a good side. They're a Champions League side, and that's to me is a disgrace.
No, it's a terrible miss.
That's a disgrace.
And then
that's a professional footballer who can't hit the target from 5 yards.
I'd have been disappointed if Lloris had saved it, to be honest. I'd have been going, he's got to score. But the fact when he hit it, I looked and thought, like, where's it gone?
Yeah, where's it gone? It's like a magic
trick. If it was in the roof of the net or something, or it's hit the bar and gone, I was like, how's he done that? Yeah. And you see him going push, and you're like, And then we get the opportunity after that. You think that's a great opportunity, playing a good side.
You only get one of them in a game.
You might only get one of them, and then we get the second one. And the second one is really good play, actually, by Onana, for the simple reason that he reads the situation. Two Spurs players go for the same ball, and we'll just have a look at the chance he fashions. You know, they go for the same ball, he picks it up, drives into the space like you want him to. See it on the next one, there's the arrow, where he should be going. It's exactly where he goes. You know, this is what you're looking for. Maupay should pull right a little bit more, but that's okay. But driving into that space, the next one, as that ball comes out of his feet, that's where he should be looking to put that right back beyond Lloris. Lloris saves it, brilliant, no issue. You've done well. You've forced the keeper into his shape. That's where it's got to be. He takes another touch, but in the next one, he gets himself a bit closer to the goal. That's still on. The shot to that corner is still the goal.
The problem,
and then the next one is you're seeing the dotted line where the ball actually goes. Well, again, that corner's keeping.
We've seen Onana sort of do something similar. I think you go back to the Villa game when he made his debut. He's done something similar there. What he does is he's trying to. He did something again. He did something similar when he had the ball, and I think it ended up going out for a goal kick even though I still think it was a corner.
Oh yeah. Early on.
Yeah, it's not having the confidence to take the shot, and the problem is, and you go back to Ronaldo's goal last week against us, whereas you look at Ronaldo and with Connor Cody. And if Ronaldo takes an extra touch, Connor Cody's going to stop him. And he knows he has to have the shot, and he's fortunate because Pickford's out of position. He always wants the other touch. He's not a natural striker, and I get that. But he always wants that extra touch. And the problem is, when he takes that extra touch, the defender's on him. And he stretches. And he stretches with the Villa one as well. And
the ball does bobble.
And because he's stretching, he's not in control. No. Whereas if he takes it a second earlier, yes, he's a little bit further out, yes, but he's fully under control. The situation is, he's got no one round him, can get a clean strike. Yeah. He wants that to get closer, and then he's stretching. And the minute you start stretching, you're leaning back, and the minute he starts leaning back, the ball's going over the bar. And he's fashioned himself a great chance. He has to get more confidence to take a strike, you know, to be a little bit more confident, to just say, I've got a clean strike here. The minute you start leaning, it's gone.
You've got to hit the target in those areas. If Lloris pulls off two worldies, and it's still 0-0, you go, well, the keeper's done brilliant. You'd still probably go, we should have scored one of them. But the keeper makes you say, you go, we've made the goalie save it. You know, if Tottenham would have had those opportunities, it'd have been 2-0 at half-time. If that had been Harry Kane running through, of course, Harry Kane. But if that would have been someone, you know, running through, midfielder, Bentancur, whoever, you'd expect them to at least hit the target. You'd expect them to score. But they're a better team than we have. They've got better players than we have. But when you're presented with two opportunities like that, you have to hit the target. You have to take your chances. You know, it could be... I honestly believe teams like, you know, teams lower down, championship teams, their players would hit the target there.
They would.
You know, Pickford might end up having to make two great saves or whatever, but 9 times out of 10, you're picking them off the net. Onana's just got to, like you said, get it out your feet and hit it. Don't wait. The longer you wait, because you're trying to get closer to the goal to build your chances up for a goal, you're giving that lad who's running with you the opportunity to get a block in.
I think going back to what we've
He's done brilliant to get in that
I think we were saying both opportunities. The problem is both opportunities, once the player gets into the box, you don't feel like he's under control of the situation. No. Whereas a player, you mentioned them there, a Kane, a Salah, whoever,
Haaland,
they're fully in control of the situation. And they know what they're going to do, and they don't second guess. Ronaldo, I said last week, same thing. Our players, it's almost like it's a luxury moment. It's like, oh, you know, we've seen Damari Gray at Brentford could have made it 2-0. Exactly the same. Exactly the same. And this is when you talk quality. This is the difference. This is the problem. We've got too many of those players. Like Onana, I can slightly forgive. But I can't. Damari Gray, I can't have that. I just can't have that. That's when people. That's where those, for me, the whole of the front three needs replacing. It really does. We need 4 new strikers. We need 2 new wingers and 2 new strikers, or 3 wingers. You know, that's got to be the next set of players we bring in. because the ones we've got aren't good enough. Because even if we're not as good as Tottenham, which we're not, and even if we needed another 7 players to get as good as Tottenham, that's not going to happen overnight.
No.
But like you said before about the other teams, you need those moments where you fashion a chance. And do you know what? This is the thing. And listen, he didn't have a very good game when he went off injured. But that's the difference with Richarlison and someone like Damari Gray. Richarlison, when he played for us, you always felt in those situations he was under control. He had that situation under control. He'd fashion those situations. And that's why he scored the goals. And that's the difference with the players we've got now. We have nobody right now who plays for us who you feel in those situations are gonna, you back them over the goalie, or you back them over the centre-back. And that, to me, is a real issue for us at the moment. It's because...
That's a huge issue.
It's not... Okay, against the Spurs team, you can get those 2 chances and go... Oh. But then you might get a game where you have 4 or 5 chances at a team you should be beating, and you do the same things. And that's where it's worse. So, you know, the manager will know this. This can't continue past January or next summer. This has to be sorted out, because Everton aren't going to get... You can't sit in against it. We're not good enough to sit in against anyone and go, we'll get a 1-0 win here today. What I mean by that is a consistent level of that.
It can happen at times.
You know, and it will happen, of course it'll happen.
You can't
You can't rely on that to be your tactic. No. You have to take games away from people. Spurs, this game's gone till 5 minutes to go till they took it away from us, and they're a good side. They were fully in control of the game. So it's not like and that's the most frustrating.
It's why we don't have games where we blow teams away. He's probably expecting a bit too much, but we don't even have those games where we're 3-0 up at half time, because even though we might get opportunities, it's so difficult for us to score goals. That's why the United game was so much of a killer, because we got a great goal early on, and then 3-2 in our net.
Do you also look at, I mean, this is another thing, do you not worry that we don't really have any kinds of patterns of play in the final third either?
There's too much. I was speaking to 2 different people over the weekend about it, and I agreed up to a certain point we were fine, we looked much better, but the final third still off the cuff. The final third right now it's not like we're looking to do a specific thing in the final third. It's almost like we know what we want to do with the back 4. Yeah. That's fine, and it looks really solid. The midfield is a work in progress a little bit, but they're all good players, and they're able to compete and they win the ball. But then when we get to the final third, it's not as if we go, well, we're going to play a nice little 1-2, and then we're having 3 runners in the back post, or we don't even consistently go down the line and put crosses in, or we don't knock it in, get it back and have a shot. It's almost like in the final third, lads, do whatever it takes. Whereas I think the best, I know, listen, City are an extreme case, but they kind of know what they're going to do. They train to create these situations all the time. But teams like Liverpool, who have been very good for the last 5 seasons, whatever, have got, runners out 2 in, or they'll put it into areas from their full-backs. You look at, like, Chelsea, they're looking to get people in the box and overload the box. Spurs, with Kane and Son, well, Kane will drop and 2 will come in from the angle. Whereas for us right now, and it might be that Frank Lampard looks, and I've seen a couple of things, and I've just read something this morning in The Athletic, which is like there's a feeling at Everton that although they had a good window, there was a big piece of the jigsaw they didn't fill,
of course they
which
did.
Is up front. And as long as the club understand that, and you hope they do, we know it as a fan base. Yeah. We know it just by watching it going, you know what, there's some really good building blocks being put in place here, and we've got some good depth in areas, but that final third is really poor. Yeah. So you either create patterns of play which are obvious, and I'm not convinced we do that. I don't know whether we just say to whether it's Anthony Gordon or Damari Gray, just get on the ball and make something happen. And then you're putting it into their, like, what they feel on the day then. And then if I'm Neil Maupay and I'm playing with those 2, And maybe this is why Maupay isn't doing better than potentially what he could be doing. I don't know. But I don't know what they're going to do. So when Damari Gray has it wide, I don't think I need to get in that 6-yard box because this is coming across. I'm looking, going, what's he doing? And then I'm behind the plate trying to join in with him. And a couple of them stills, you see Maupay's 15 yards away. Yeah. So that's the kind of thing. If you know every time we get it out to Anthony Gordon or wherever, it's coming in. He's going to get half a yard and throw this in. I have got to be around that penalty. I've got to be there because otherwise the chance is going. Or I've got to go in and drop back and he'll chuck it back to me and I've got a shot. There doesn't seem to be that work. It might be there. And if it is there, then the players are letting the manager and the coaching staff down because it's not coming out on a match day. You know, and this isn't an overreaction to losing to a really good side because Spurs are a really good side. But just as we move forward, we have to try to be better than that. You know, we got in at 0-0 and you're thinking, okay, they've not really done that much either. But you know that Conte will be looking to try to change it. What are we doing? But I just thought we'd come out for the second half and we just looked a little bit flat.
Yeah.
And I know the game really kind of changed when Basuma come on for the Charlison. But we still, after half-time, we just seemed a little bit flat.
Yeah, because it's difficult, isn't it? You're asking players to play in a certain way and you're not really giving them, again, you're not giving them an out ball. And this is where I get frustrated with Frank Lampard. I really do. To me, I think he's good. I said this last season. I think I've been pretty consistent on this. I think he's good at setting a team up. I think with his coaches, I think he's good at setting teams up and playing. He's been good at setting up a team to play in a certain way, in a certain role. That's great. Things change during games of football. Richarlison goes off and suddenly they've only got 2 up front, but they don't need more than that because they've now got control of midfield. And things change and we don't react. And this is my issue with Frank Lampard. You know, I just think he's a very average manager who gets things right maybe in the week, but then when it comes to a game, when it comes to match day, I don't see the answers. And it is, you grow as a manager. And I'm not saying, you know, that's the end of that. Or you grow as a manager, you learn from experiences, of course you do. But I do look at situations and think, you can affect this situation. You don't have to sit on what you've got. Because there are games, and this is not just with Frank Lampard, this was with a lot of managers, by the way. There's games where you've heard players saying this, and you hear managers and you hear fans, we see it, you can see where things are going. And I don't always think managers react to that. And I just think that when Basuma came on, we might have had to just have a little look and maybe put an extra man in there or just change something slightly, and we don't. And it's all reactive to what the opposition do. Once they go in front, the game's over because we haven't got the firepower on the pitch. And this is why I go back to before we were saying about set pieces, by the way, because if we can't get in areas where we'll get winning set pieces, winning corners and those deliveries, they can be the difference in games.
Of course, yeah.
We have to and again, people might go, well, what's he got? You've got to go with what you've got. If you've decided not to go and buy a winger or not to buy a centre forward and you're happy with what you've got or you're not happy or whatever, it's your job to come up with a plan. It's your job to come up with an idea and say, you know what? We're bringing James Garner on and Onana's going to go further forward and he's going to run past Maupay or whatever, or we're taking Idrissa Gana Gay off and Onana's going to come and sit in as the 6 and that's going to mean we can start pushing on. Whatever it is, it's your job. The manager's job is to come up with the plans while the game's going on. This is what makes great managers great. And I think, as I've said loads of times, Frank can set a team up really well. But I think once that game starts, I don't have a lot.
I've seen that a lot though from managers.
That's great, but they're not our managers. This is our manager.
From our managers?
No, yeah.
I've seen it from our managers.
And that's why they always get sacked.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
You've got to be able to change a game.
You know, the master tactician wasn't very good at it.
You've got to be able to see when something changes in a game. You've got to react to it before.
I do understand what you're saying, and there is that in it. I think sometimes he might look along the line and go, "Well, how am I changing this?" I get that, You know, he'll have that argument of, and he is still learning.
But isn't that your job to know what that is before the game starts?
Of course it is, yeah. And maybe he could have gone, like Seamus, you're not running up and down, so we may as well take you off. Gone to a flat back four. Maybe he could have just gone, we're going to a flat back four anyway, and we'll take off Dwight McNeil, and we'll push Iwobi right, and we'll have Garner there, and we'll keep Gray, Dom, because Dom was getting ready to come on. We'll have Iwobi, and we'll have 3 in midfield, because really we can almost have 4 in midfield. We can be 4-4-2 out of possession, because Iwobi can drop in as the right, and we can switch over one, or whatever it may be. Gray can drop, and we can play 4-5-1 and keep it frustrated for them. But Dom's now the target, and with the Onan and run past them, or whoever, you know, we can get balls. And we didn't really respond to it. We kind of just went with the game. And there is that temptation. You do see it with managers where Moyes would do this sometimes for us years ago. You know, Martinez certainly did it, where you're right, you can feel like the pressure's building. You think, just make the change now. And they wait and they wait. And maybe they're just thinking, if we ride this bit out, we'll be all right. But then ultimately, with Everton, it ends in a goal. And then you go, oh, how can we react? And if you haven't got that extra bit of firepower in your side or on the bench or whatever, the game goes away from you. This was regular under Moyes, wasn't it?
Yeah,
no,
I appreciate that.
It was a regular thing under David Moyes.
And I appreciate...
We'd go to somewhere like Spurs, we'd be all right, we'd concede, and then you'd go, we've got Velios on the bench, and it'd be like...
But, see, I get all that, and I've got no issues, I agree. But the minute Richarlison goes off, do you really need 5 at the back? Do you really need 5 at the back?
No, and that's what I've just said. There could have then been the change. There could have been, hang on.
Basuma's come on in the 52nd minute. They've scored in the 59th. Yeah. We've made subs in the 62nd minute or something like that. Do you really need to keep five at the back at that point? At that point, you could say, at that point, you could actually make the argument of saying, right, we're taking Seamus off, and we're taking Michalenko off, and Iwobi's going to right back, and Dwight McNeil's going to left back, and we'll put Garner in the midfield, and maybe we'll put Dom up front, and then those two, I want energy up and down, because they didn't have a true winger on the pitch. They're now coming at us through the midfield. So, do you know what I mean? It's like, that to me, they're to me the fundamentals. They're to me, like, they've made a change of formation. Why do we need 5 at the back?
They were obviously worried. They were obviously thinking we're coping relatively well. Don't forget, the only real chance they had before the goal, Kane had he was offside.
But we were coping, that's the point.
I know, but he might say we're coping because we've got 5.
But we had nothing going forward.
No, you're
so
I'm not.
You're playing for a 0-0.
I'm just saying. I'm just giving you the other side, what you might say. But you are playing for a 0-0. And they're playing for a 0-0, or can we nick it? Well, we're not going to nick it on a counter-attack, because we're not counter-attacking.
No, that's why
we're not getting up the pitch to get free kicks or corners, so we can't even go, well,
so you're not going to get on a counter-attack, so that's why you need someone in midfield that can grab hold of the ball. I think that
ultimately, we went behind because of a mistake.
Of course, and that will happen. But because if you allow the opposition lots of the ball, they will force mistakes one way or another. We've seen it. 3 of the 4 of the... Is it 4? 3, of the last so many goals we've conceded have come from mistakes. No, 4 out the last 5 have come from mistakes.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at, the goal, the penalty, cross comes in from the left-hand side. I think it might be Perisic, puts it in. Cody heads it away. McNeil's got no clue where Doherty is. Doherty's on his own. Hits a weak shot, which the goalkeeper should gather up all day long. He hits it, and in your mind, because you do it very quickly, I'm just thinking that's all right because he's got it. And the next minute, it's out of his grasp, and Kane makes the most of it, shall we say. If you look at it again, he's fallen before he hits Pickford, but and it makes the referee's mind very easy. And Pickford really should jump up and go over to the referee, or jump up and go mad at Kane. Really is what you should do, because that's what Lloris would have done at the other end. And he doesn't. He just sits on his, and he's like laughing. Him and Kane are like winking at each other. It's like, no, mate, this isn't an England training session. This is 0-0, and you've dropped the ball. And Harry Kane's doesn't miss penalties, and Pickford just doesn't say penalties anymore. And Kane blasts it through him, and once it's 1-0, the plan's gone. It's out the window, and okay, the manager's unlucky because someone who's been in really good, solid form for 2 years now, has had a bit of didn't play well last week nearly against United, and this week dropped something that he would save 99 times out of 100, and you're 1-0 down. And then we respond by trying to put Dom on and get James Garner on the pitch and that. But I was so disappointed defensively in our second half. It was terrible. Yeah. Like really bad.
No, it was.
Really
it was
bad.
terrible.
We had nothing.
We had nothing.
We had a cross from Dwight McNeil, which Dom jumped about 2 weeks too early for. But we don't... And this is the other thing that I just can't get my head around in training, because it's something I do with the kids when you're training with them. If a cross is coming in and someone's going for it, someone has to be behind them. Yeah. Because if the first man misses it, he's taking someone's eye with him. So they're looking at him and you might get a little tapping. Dom jumps, as he does.
Seen it last week? Southampton. Onana.
Yeah.
Dwight McNeil's behind them. That's the winning goal.
Exactly. But there was nothing there the other night. Comes in. I don't know who it is. You should be in there. Whoever's up there. Wobie, whoever. Not McNeil, because he crossed it. Gray, maybe. No one runs in behind Dom. No. And the ball comes in. It hits the defender and bounces into Larissa's hands. And you think, well, if you were there, you'd have had a header at goal. And then we had one from the other side, which is a ball in by James Garner. And Onana this time does get in, but it's good goalkeeping, actually. It doesn't take his eye off it. But there wasn't enough of that. No. There was none of that. And we finished the second half with no attempts at goal. How do you have no attempts at goal in a football match?
Dom had 5 touches, and I think Rondon had 2 touches. Right? And I know touches are not everything, but that just shows you we
were never up there.
We were never up there. We didn't... The plan... That's what I'm saying. The plan didn't help us get anywhere, or whatever the reaction. There's got to be a plan if you go 1-0 down. There has to be a reaction. There has to be something different. Brings Garner on. James Garner done well. I think he had 95% pass accuracy. He's done well. So maybe you've got to have something different to what you set up with. The game could be taken away from you in a moment by something stupid. Anything can happen. You've got to have a reaction, and I don't see enough of that. But ultimately, we didn't have enough control of the game. The passing was poor.
We had James Garner had 100%.
Was it 100%? I knew it was up there.
100% passing accuracy. He had 2 out of 2 in the attack and third. Just having a look here.
Probably could have just done this on the stats.
1 cross, 100% tackles, 100% of the
I did say us after me in the aftermatch that he'd done well when he came on.
So he did do very well. Where Dom, 4 touches, completed 50% of them.
And maybe there's an argument going forward in certain games, saying with the game on Wednesday night, that Onana plays as the 6 with him, and Adesanya doesn't play, and you try and get him on the ball so we can get some control. But we're not fashioning in chances, and again, we are playing a good side. We're playing a decent side. I do appreciate that, but you've got to be able to fashion some chance. You've got to have a way of making chances.
Got to. Well, we go and concede the second goal, and again, this can be dealt with a lot easier. The ball goes... I'm not going to put the first bit up, the clip of, the still up from the first bit, but the ball's knocked up to Kane, and it bounces away from him, and Michalenko should go and win the ball. And it's almost like he looks and sees Harry Kane and thinks, that's Harry Kane. And he slows down and allows Kane to get the ball, which I couldn't believe Kane beat him to the ball, honestly. But as we stop it, it's being played down the line, so we'll have a look here. Bentancur's on it. And I've got Højbjerg circled in the middle, because he's literally on his own. And all Bentancur has to do is put it into that area, take it on a bit. We've got a Wobie circled, because he's the closest tracking him. But still, Højbjerg, if that ball's right, Højbjerg is in on goal. Fortunately for Everton, he takes a touch that doesn't get it out of his feet. And he's faced like this. Now, Son's going to run on the outside of him, which is fine, but a Wobie has to come and close the ball down. And he doesn't. He stands, and then the next one is he allows him to get the shot away from there, because he hasn't closed the space, and it nicks off of Wobie's foot, and it takes Pickford out the game, and that's it, game over. And again, it's just little things that could have been avoided. If Michalenko goes and wins that on the halfway line,
aggression,
by going, I'm having this, because Kane's not quick. He's a lot of things, Harry Kane, but he ain't quick. Go and win. If you foul him, it's a free kick on the halfway line. then once he's missed that opportunity and it's played down the line, Iwobi, he does well, he runs, he sees the danger and starts running back in. Why we've got 3 men over on one side is beyond me anyway, because it doesn't need that. But Iwobi does well to get back in and get goal side. Then you've got to go and engage the ball. You can't stand off a professional footballer in the box and let him look where he wants to put it. You've got to be in his face. If he slides a little one round the corner to some, then Tarkowski's got to come and block that. And he doesn't. The minute he stands off and lets him pick his head up, we're in trouble. And okay, people might say, well, it was lucky because it nicked off Iwobi and looped over Pickford. Well, all right, but let's not let him get the shot in. And it's 2-0, and it's ultimate. It was game over probably anyway, but it's definitely game over then. And that's the frustrating thing, that as good a team as they are, and they are a good side with good players, we could have gone in half-time 2-0 up, and we could have maybe coped or made them, because they may well have fashioned a chance elsewhere, but we could have made them work harder for the win. And we haven't. They've controlled the second half. We've given them a penalty that is from bad goalkeeping, and we've given them the second goal by not doing the things we've been doing lately, which is getting tight to people and not allowing shots to come in. We see that thing from our last away game where 3 of them threw themselves at the ball. Well, standing off and going, go on then. Yeah. Ain't going to wash with anyone. Most players, most professional players would hit the target from there, unless they were probably our strikers. And we've lost the game 2-0, and that's the frustrating thing. And I think, you know, all the stuff he said about Lampard, I think there's a lot of validity in that, but he will ultimately be sat there Saturday night thinking, we've give the 2 goals to them now. We could have done better in both. You can always do better in a goal, you concede, of course you can, but let's make it more difficult for the opposition. We didn't make it difficult for United last week, and we didn't make it difficult for Spurs this week, and that's where, as we move forward, we have to be better in both boxes. We've got to be, and that's where we were. So
let's have a look at the stats from the game. I mean, there you go, 21 shots, 7 on target for Spurs, 3 big chances. We've had 4 shots, 0 on target, 1 big chance. It says everything.
And we hit the sweet spot on a possession.
Yeah, we did 38% is the sweet spot, yeah. Now, ultimately, I think, yeah, we've got...
these hits, we can't sit...
I'm not sitting here.
I'm saying we wouldn't sit here and say anything different.
I think we've gone there and we've had a game plan, but once the game plan goes, it's not a... If you got to have a game plan, it's got to be more than just sit back and try and defend for 90 minutes. There has to be something else about it. Yeah. And I didn't see anything. And I know people go, we had 2 big chances. One from one pass that we never tried again. So that's not part of the game plan. And another one where we got lucky, but we ultimately missed both chances. There's got to be an end product. I don't care who you're playing against. There has to be a way. You have to find a way.
No, you've got to have a game. I think we got lucky, I think. It's good play by Onana. He's read it well.
Loses the ball.
Kicks
the ball.
He's read it well. He's seen 2 people going and he's put them under pressure.
Luck. That's luck, ultimately. If it's good play, it happens more than once in a game. If it happens once
but he's dicked the ball, hasn't he?
No, but that's what I'm saying, it's just luck.
I thought he played well. Let's have a look at his numbers. I thought he played well Saturday. 43 touches, 73% passing accuracy, 1 key pass, completed 50% of his dribbles. He won 7 out of, I can't see it, so many duels. How many, Ned? 10? Out of 10 duels, ground duels. And what's not up there was he had 3 tackles, which is more than anybody else on the pitch as well. He won 3 tackles.
Don't say he didn't play.
I thought he had the decent
I thought he was all right, but what I'm saying is
he wasn't amazing.
His chance comes from luck. It doesn't. What I'm saying is
we haven't created
his chance comes from luck, not creating something. That's my issue. Is that we don't create. We don't have a way of fashioning chances. Yeah. How are we going to win games of football? Never mind the games of football against teams who are top 4. Yeah. Anybody.
Yeah. No, we've got to be better.
And if you're not scoring goals, you're not winning points. So
no.
There you go. Yeah, a disappointing defeat, but Newcastle on Wednesday. Yeah, you can't wait. Let us know.
Another tough one.
Let us know your thoughts in the comments. We are live on Toffee TV Premier. We'll be carrying on after this. So if you want to join us on Toffee TV Premier, where we do daily live exclusive shows, then the link is in the description and it'll be on the screen in a moment. Thanks for watching. See you later.